Next game, we got the Steelers at the Eagles. Only undefeated team left, still standing for the third week in a row. Is Philly.
In-state
Made the
rivalry.
big splash trade with grabbing Robert Quinn, which I love. It makes me scratch my head a little bit, honestly, because I know the D-line depth there in Philly. Adding a piece, nothing wrong with it. Is he going to fit in great there? Absolutely, he's going to. But it does make me scratch my head of why that was the area that was targeted. Maybe you can speak a little bit more to it when we get around to you, Nikki. And then you're going against a Steelers team that has been game but hasn't been able to produce on offense. Same old story as from last year and even the year before that, even with a new quarterback. That's going to be a tough one. How do you see this one shaking out? It's a big spread. It's 10.5. It's one of the bigger ones on the week.
Yeah, it's crazy. You think, like you look at the Eagles team and you think like, how long can they keep this up for? Can they go all year undefeated? Can they be an undefeated team? First time an NFC team has ever gone undefeated. Can it happen? There's definitely, I'm sure a bullseye is beginning to get on their back. Like, man, they're 6-0. Like, somebody's got to knock them off. But I don't think it's going to be the Pittsburgh Steelers here, and they're banged up across the board here in every facet of their team. Philly just looks really good right now until they don't. Philly looks really, really good right now until they don't. If it were Buffalo, I'd go Buffalo right now just because it's Buffalo. And, they're just more tested to me in my mind than Philly. But I don't think Pittsburgh's going to test them. It might be a good game. It might be it very well could be a good game, a low-scoring game, because Pittsburgh's defense might hang in there, might not, But I'm going Philly here. I don't think. I think they're gonna do what Philly does here. I don't know about you, Nick. Actually, I do know about you. So, but why don't you tell the folks who you're gonna pick?
Nick and most of America, Eddie. Nick and most of America is going Philly.
He
It's
doesn't
hard.
know nothing, folks. Don't listen to him.
It's hard.
Yeah. To touch on what you said, Charlie, about why that was the position that we were kind of targeting. I can see where you're coming from for sure. But
I like it. Don't get me wrong. I love
it. No, 100%. Everybody heard what you had to say. He definitely fits in nice. All the things you said for sure. But I can see why you would ask that kind of question. Scratch your head type of deal. Why are they targeting that position? BG, Brandon Graham, been in the league 11 years. This is 11th season. Fletcher Cox, same thing. We got Derek Barnett, who's been injured as well, struggled with injuries. Brandon Graham was out the rest of the season last year. We missed him a lot. And then we started losing defense end guys. We got Josh Sweat, who's a younger guy, who's probably our youngest guy in that position. You got BG, who's probably on his last leg. Still performing at a high level, no doubt. But that injury could, is that injury concern is there. And then Derek Barnett, breaking Reggie White's sack record at Tennessee, coming in was supposed to be the next big thing. And, he's average. He didn't come in the league and show what he was, advertised to be. So then you got him, Brandon Graham, and then who else you got? Josh Sweat. That's really it. So to bring in a guy like Robert Quinn in his position, doing what he's been doing the last couple of seasons, although he hasn't shown it that much this season so far, I think it is a great fit. So hopefully that kind of dumbs it down a little bit more for, whoever was wondering the same thing about why we targeted that position, because that's definitely
the Eagles fan. I know you can offer a lot more insight on the individualness of each player, because you named off very talented pieces that me and Eddie are aware of as well, but I know you follow them, crazy close.
Rotation.
So you see the production out on the field as well.
Rotation.
Right. So I wanted to see that.
No,
and
you sure.
Getting rotation.
It very well.
Getting rotation.
Sure, because when you got guys, when you got a team like the Eagles and the defense and the kind of franchise that we are and what we are on defense, kind of our scheme that we've ran throughout the years. That's what's won us games, is that defense and that defensive line in particular, and that depth in the defensive line. And when these guys start to get older and we start to lose guys to trades or to free agency, that's what I like what the Eagles do. We fill it in, even though sometimes it almost looks like an overload on the defensive line. Bro, we got Javon Hargrave, Fletcher Cox, Jordan Davis, Brandon Graham, Josh Sweat, Derek Barnett, Milton. Like, it's ridiculous. So it's like, yeah, I get it, but I also love it. I'm going Philadelphia Eagles. Pittsburgh, don't got much to say. I think you guys touched a little bit more on it than I can. They're all over the place. Defense is still solid for sure. Mike Tomlin's still Mike Tomlin. I think it's going to be a gritty game for sure, but I think ultimately we're too overpowered for them on offense. So, Philly.
It's going to be a hell of a game. You get rotation with Quinn.
I'm gonna go Philly here too. I think this one's gonna be a little bit tighter than what Philly wants us to be. I hope Philly just closes the door. That's something I've been wanting to see for the last couple of weeks. Just close the door and make it the game that it should be, because you guys are way, out of their league, talent for talent. I do think Pittsburgh finds a way to hang in this one. I think they make Jalen Hurts throw the ball a little bit more. I think that's going to be the focus. I think at this point in time, the league sees what needs to happen, which is, let's see if Jalen Hurts can beat us. I think he's going to do a good job this game at doing that stuff. The secondary minus Minkah Fitzpatrick, which is going to be a problem, is very thin. The corners are very thin. And I think, the likes of Devonta Smith and A.J. Brown are going to be able to exploit it, Dallas Goedert. Yeah. So I like Jalen Hurts to maybe even throw 3 touchdowns himself this week. Because I think he's going to be forced to. I think they're going to clog the run and make that have to be. So I'm taking Philly. I do want to ask you just real quick. If you were GM of Philly before this trade happens, what position do you target as a trade? Which one did you personally feel is the weak spot? Hey, I'd like to see us do this.
Okay, so before I answer it completely, I wanted to point out that Brandon Graham is coming into this game questionable.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. The second string defense end for Brandon Graham is Janarius Robinson. He's on IR. Derek Barnett, who was Brandon Graham's backup, is on IR.
Yep.
Okay. Then you got Robert Quinn and Josh Sweat. They're both healthy. That's on the other side. So that's why I feel like we targeted that. It seems to do something with the injuries. They must know something that you don't. If there was a position that I'm targeting in particular.
Yeah, before this happened, if you say that's the deal I'd like to see them make for something right there, if they're going to make a deal before the trade deadline. Because obviously you guys are Super Bowl aspirations, and there's no question that move solidifies, hey, we're going for it.
I would have liked another wide receiver reach, or possibly because when I look at it all around, we don't have a lot of weak spots, and that's why we've been successful. We got the secondary. We got the linebacking core now with Hassan Reddick and Kaiser White. Tighten that up. And we got the guys behind them, TJ Edwards and Nakobe Dean, who we haven't heard much from yet, but we will. And the defensive line is solid. Then the offensive line is solid. Quarterback solid. Running backs are solid. Wide receivers are solid. But I feel like a good solid number 3. Pascal's been okay. Goddard is kind of like our number 3, so we don't need the tight end. But maybe a left guard, right guard, or another wide receiver piece.
Good deal. All right, that wraps it up for the 1:00 games.